Hello everyone, my name is Veronica and welcome back to Brown Girl Financial Freedom, where we talk about making money, saving money, and growing money. This is the last video in our series where we talk about how to begin tracking your spending. And I'm actually going to demonstrate how I track my spending using all the guides and tips from videos 1 through 4. That way you can see how it all comes together and how I apply all of that into my life, all with the purpose of continuing my journey to financial freedom. We're going to go ahead and get started with showing you what my vision board looks like so that you can see how I start tracking my expenses. It actually doesn't start with a documentation process or with the actual tracking of your spending. It starts with really locking down what your financial goals are. And mine actually started a few years back when I paid off $70,000 of student loan debt. And now that I've accomplished that, my next goal is saving up money to buy a house. So I'm going to show you what my vision board looks like. I'm bringing up my vision board. As you can see in my vision board, not only do I have my financial goals, but I have other things that I'm focusing on in my life. But in this section, you're going to see that I have a specific section dedicated to just my financial goals. I'm actually blocking the specific amounts because I'm going to talk about that in a different video, but each month I have little check boxes where I actually check off on a monthly basis that I'm meeting my goals. This is what I do. This really helps me see my progress on a monthly basis. So I really enjoy doing this. And in addition to that, I use a Google Sheet. So that also helps me stay on track. I actually used different trackers, which is moving on to the next topic, which is how I actually track my spending. All right, so here is my planner, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how my tracking looks like. So as you can see, I actually track my spending on a day-to-day basis. And I have my overall budget towards the end of this notebook. You can see my categories here. For example, I have some items that are more so entertainment, some grocery, vehicle/transportation, clothing, eating out, etc. And if I have any birthdays or any other type of expense that would be specific to that month, I make sure to add it. That way I know what my total spending is anticipated for that specific month. And now I'm actually going to write in what I actually spend. So I like to have a budget, and then I like to have a separate column showing me what I actually spend. Sometimes I go under my budget for each category, but sometimes I go over. So I'm going to go ahead and start filling these out so that you can compare and see how I did that specific month. Now that I've calculated my total for what I actually spent, I was under my anticipated budget, so that's really great. I normally subtract my budgeted from what I actually spent just to see the difference for every single category, just to see if I was under or over. And I mean, it's pretty obvious. I already know where I went over, but luckily I went under severely in some other areas. That way my overall total was still under the budget for that specific month. Once I am done with the month that I was working on, I actually then begin working on the next month. And I actually look at my previous categories and my budget to see if I was under or over. And I start to change based on my needs. For example, in this specific category for Sprouts grocery store, my budget was $150, but I spent $70 this specific month. So next month, I'm going to make sure that for Sprouts, I calculate my budget to be lower than 150 since I know that I can go under. So I'm going to go ahead and start writing down my categories for the next month. I just finished adding all the categories for next month's budget. One of the items that I didn't previously have is my dermatologist appointment. I mentioned I do get some treatments, and that's why I have the scabs on my face currently still is because I'm getting these treatments, and yes, they are expensive, but I make sure that I don't go to the dermatologist on a monthly basis. Plus, the healing process takes longer than a month, so it's not on a monthly basis. It's whenever I can go or whenever I feel like I've saved enough money to go. And it's not that I don't have the money, I just don't feel comfortable going every other month. I definitely try to separate that throughout the year. The other categories are pretty typical, and I do have 2 others that I added here at the bottom. I do have 2 birthdays this month for my family, so now I'm going to calculate what I intend on spending for the month of October. I just finished adding up all my totals, and this month is going to be more than the previous month, but again, it just depends on what I have going on. So as you can see, I do have other items that wouldn't normally be there. All I do now is start my next month, which would be October in this case, and I literally start tracking my spending on a daily basis. Once I'm done with this month, again, I just do my actual, and then I'll do the difference, and then I will move on to the next month. And that's pretty much it. And that concludes our series on how to begin tracking your spending. I hope that you found this video enjoyable. Please consider subscribing and hitting the notification icon. That way you are notified every time I post videos. And please let me know any thoughts or any type of video that you'd like me to do in the future in the comments down below. I would love to hear your feedback. Stay tuned for the next video on my channel as we continue our journeys to financial freedom. Until next time, remember, you don't have to be brown to turn your money frown upside down. Bye!